Well, of course, up until the early 50s, the primary means of locomotion on the railroads was the steam engine, and the steam engine required a water supply every 30, 40 miles. It carried water with it, but that's how it operates. So they generate steam from water, and that's what powered the trains back in those days. So the railroads needed a water supply at every 30 or 40 miles to provide locomotion. And if there didn't happen to be a stream that they could pump from that was continuously, had water available, they couldn't afford not to have water available. So I suppose that when it was intermittent, they would build a reservoir, and that's probably the purpose of a lot of those railroad-built dams. I suppose also they probably had some embankments that kind of perhaps functioned as dams, just as a route location. If they needed to get across a canyon, and a bridge wasn't feasible, why I suppose they put up an embankment and somewhat created a dam as such. But
So can you think of some places where these dams are, some of the oldest ones you've seen?
yeah, that Frisco Lake down there, and I can't tell you the subdivision or the municipality that it's in, Olathe, I believe. The Frisco had a track that went down through Olathe, and I recall doing some safety inspection reviews there's a string of 2 or 3 lakes and one of them is named Frisco Lake, and there's a couple more right in the same vicinity that were built by the railroad and have since been turned over to the city, and so yeah, those are some that I can think of. They're pretty old, 1880s, something like that.
Any out in western Kansas, say around Hayes, maybe?
No, I can't think of any out there that would have been railroad reservoirs. Although it was, you get out there where it's dry part of the year, and you wonder how they did get water. Surely they had some small ones.
Are they built any different than any other dams, maybe? Old dams?
Probably they are different with respect to the elevations of their spillways and where the outlet might be located. If you're doing a water storage dam, then you want your impoundment pool to be as large as you can relative to the size of the dam. Whereas if it's flood control, why you keep the normal pool lower on the structure, and that way the bulk of your volume comes in with the storm. You want to detain it and then let it out slowly. So yeah, it's kind of a reverse way of building structures. If your primary goal is water storage, then you want your pipe up high, and if it's flood detention, you want your pipe down low. So yeah.